This is Kat Sturtz from rockingyourpath.com with another episode of Fast Action Fridays. This week, I have Leslie Flowers with me. Now, I've known Leslie online, especially on Facebook, for several years, and I am really surprised that this is the first time she's ever been my Fast Action Friday guest. I've been a guest presenter for her groups several times and really enjoyed that. Today, Leslie's going to be talking about something that I don't think I've ever covered quite this way before. It's the art and science of results. Glad to have you here, Leslie. Can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, yes. Thank you for having me, by the way, Kat, and inviting me. I'm excited to be here, and maybe this is a special day, right? Exactly the right people will be here looking for very specific information, and they'll have it with us today. So I have 25 years of personal development, 45 in corporate America. I was in publishing, and 25 years in personal development. And in 2008, I focused on universal law and business principles of success. And since that time, I've become a global master, teaching women primarily how to use the principles of success in Napoleon Hill's #2 bestseller of all times, Think and Grow Rich. And in my flagship program that I've been doing for 28 rounds so far, 28 quarters, we also look at universal law, quantum physics, some neuroplasticity, and a little magic.
I love that. Magic falls into the realm of intuition, of which
Yes.
I am highly intuitive. Now, I know your target market now are women in business who have got an established business now and are looking for that growth factor, which is not necessarily my biggest followers, but I want my followers to know that you can still glean a lot of tidbits and insight that will help you where you are right now. So Leslie, let's get to the tips you have.
Okay, all right. So first of all, the art of results and the science of results are something that I had to develop. And the challenge with it is that over the last 12 years, I've spoken to hundreds and hundreds of people, and not one of them ever took a class in high school or university on how to set a goal that you'll achieve with consistency. Nobody. The best cat that I found was a guy who was in the Army, and he had a seminar on it inside another course. Well, over 12 years working with women and working to figure out what is success? How do you become happy, healthy, and wealthy? I did a lot of work around the wage gap. How is it we women are here with 30 or 40 years in business proper, whereas men have set the context over 5,000 years? The skills that we require to go toe-to-toe with men and ask for what we deserve and get paid are not natural to us. They have to be learned. So at home, we behaved a certain way. We told stories, we wiped boo-boos, we wiped tears, right? That was all perfect for 5,000 years managing a high school. But crying and telling stories and hugging and wiping boo-boos doesn't work in business. So what I discovered was, in order for women and men to be successful in business, you have to have two things. One, you have to be good at what you do. Okay, so you know what you're doing. And I would say for both women and men, primarily for women, we are capable. The other prong of the fork, if you will, you can't have a fork with one prong. Okay, so it's going to require at least two, right? The second one is confidence. Men have it inherently, even if they don't know how to do the job. They will step up without thinking about it, but we will not. We don't necessarily believe yet that we deserve success. Is that always true? Well, if you don't have the success that you want and the results that you want, either you're not capable in your industry or there's something amiss. And that something is the belief in ourselves that we deserve to ask for what we deserve and get paid, and we don't believe it. So the magic formula I discovered over 12 years are the golden rules of goal setting. And I developed them. And over 28 quarters, all of my clients achieved their goal at 97% every quarter. With consistency and predictability, it works. But it took a long time. So there's a list of golden rules. And for the people that are listening that, perhaps don't have an established business, don't get me wrong. There are people that actually reach success to a certain extent, missing some of these pieces I'm going to give you today. So what do you think, Kat?
I think, first of all, that having 28 consecutive quarters serving the community you serve and getting the type of results you get, that is worth celebrating all by itself. But within that, what I hear is establishing your goals for yourself and then applying the energy and the work required to carry them out consistently over time. Am I getting that?
Absolutely right. And what happens is, what you realize is confidence is a byproduct. It's a freebie every time you achieve your goal. So it's absolutely critical that you set one and achieve it, and you set one and achieve it. And it has to be in consistent spaced intervals over time. Haphazard or sporadic results are not going to give you the kind of success that you want. We've all had that. We've had some really great times, but there is a way to put your goal, the thing that you want, through certain paces. It's actually a checklist. And if you meet those criteria, those things, and you're willing to do the work, because it does take some work, you will see it happen right before your eyes. You'll get so good at it that you'll see it before you actually achieve it. Because there are things that we don't know, and once we learn them, we know what to look for. So
I just heard a little bit of magic. And the magic I heard was confidence is a byproduct.
It is.
Not the goal in and of itself.
No.
Which that gave me tingles. I love that phrase.
It really is. So if someone says, well, come and take a class with me, I'm going to teach you how to be confident. You don't even have to do that. And I don't know that you could, because it takes a little time.
Well, it's the same thing with self-esteem.
Yes.
I can't give someone self-esteem. No. I can't make someone else responsible in their mind, for the things they choose to do or not do. I can't do that for them. As much as stereotypically women want to do things for others and take other people's burdens from them and do it for them, we cannot do those things for other people. These are things you have to do for yourself.
Yet, and that is our nature. And one of the biggest challenges in my framework, one of the main things we go to work on, is that inherent behavior that we're going to take care of everybody else before we take care of ourselves. That actually is a concept that I've derived from watching wolves on their journey. one thing that I did when I was in corporate for 45 years, as I was raising my kids, and maybe your listeners will understand this, I'm sure they will. So I had time, vacation time, sick time, my business was in order, my work. And one day I didn't feel like going in. I didn't feel good. So there's the decision about, am I going to stay home today? I had the time, work is in order, right? When I decided to stay home, all I did was feel guilty. What are people going to think, right? Should I have really used this during that time? Was I really sick enough? And so I never really got to enjoy those days that I played hooky. This is about women setting their own pace in a group of wolves moving from one area to another. The ones out in front are not the leaders. They're what's called the pace animals. They're the old tired ones, the ones that have been traipsing around their whole life. They set the pace. So that's one of the things that I teach in my framework, in my flagship program is that you get to take things off your plate and be okay with it. You love it?
Rocking your own path.
Oh, thank you. I think that's already taken, I think. But so here's what I want to share about setting goals. I'm going to give you a few tips. Now, just like in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, there are 13 principles of success. There are 2 that you have to use if you want to be successful. You don't have to use all 13, but there are 2 that you must use, and that's desire and persistence. There's a whole bunch of them. There are a few things about goals, the same thing. The more of these that you use, the more quickly the goal shows up, and you know why. Okay, because in my program, I teach you the universal laws. See, there are things, Kat, going on all the time, even when I don't know about them. Just because I don't know about them doesn't mean they're not true. So you want to be really hungry. And also, as you're listening to this, make sure it resonates with you. Anything that doesn't feel right, just don't pay attention to it. Move on to the next thing. So the most important thing about setting a goal is that it has to motivate you into action. If you are not motivated, pick another goal. And it's your goal, not someone else's goal, right? Because someone else's goal, you can be supportive and that's fine. But you want to have your own goal. And for women in particular, 1 goal per quarter. Now, this is not easy to do because I have a conversation every quarter with my clients to determine what is that 1 goal going to be. Now, it doesn't mean you don't do anything else. But what it does mean is that is the goal you're going to achieve, right? And you are willing to put it through the paces. So it's got to motivate you into action, number 1. Number 2, you want to make sure it's something you want, not need. Okay. Needs feel different. And much of what I will teach you is how you feel has a certain vibration in every cell of your body. So what you want to know is that mind is an activity, not a place in your body. It occurs in every cell of your body. So when you feel really great, all your cells feel great. All the proteins are moving in one direction and there's a skip in your step. So if it's something you want, great. It'll make you feel good. You can fall in love with it. You can think about it a lot and you'll stay feeling great. If it's something you need, go get it if you need it, right? But it's not your goal, okay? And then let's see. What do you think would be another one? What's logical for you? So first of all, it's something that motivates you into action and you want it very much.
That reminds me of something I often tell my clients. and the reason they come to me. They've suddenly, doesn't mean just because you're all excited about doing this, you don't have some fear inside you. Can you actually accomplish this? So I know for my followers, and especially my clients, we meet at the place where they're finally willing to step into the unknown. So they fear staying where they are more than they fear stepping forward. That's one of my signals that, yeah, okay, I'm more fearful. I don't want to stay where I'm at. I want this other thing over here, and I'm willing to take that step to get there.
Oh, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. This is similar. One of the golden rules is that you have to have fear. So not that you want to be afraid, but it is a touchstone that the goal is big enough. Okay, so it's like, okay, this is this goal. I have a moment of trepidation. Good. That tells me this is a good goal, because if you have absolutely no fear, you're not going to stay motivated, right? So fear is important to use as the touchstone or the benchmark that says, oh, this is really a good goal then, because I'm scared, right? You should be scared, right? The other piece that goes along with this is why you want the goal rather than how you will do it. How will bring up fear. Well, if you've never done it before, why would you want to focus there? Where you want to focus with your one thought every chance you get so that you feel good, why you want it. What is it going to make available for you, your family, your clients, your referral partners, the world? Do you have a message to expand? So why is much more important than how you're going to do it. You don't know how you're going to do it. In fact, if you do, it's not a good goal, because you would have already. So really what you have now is a handful of the golden rules. So when you set a goal, and I recommend 90 days, that doesn't mean that you don't have a big philanthropic goal 2 or 3 or 5 years out, but these 90-day increments get you there. They make you feel good. Confidence is a muscle that's growing in direct proportion to its use, right? So every time you set one, your confidence goes, oh, I did that. Oh, I was really good at it too. Right? So you start, it's developed. You have to develop this yourself. So there's no overnight. The main things to remember to start with is it better motivate you into action. It's got to be yours. You have to want it, not need it, because wanting feels good. And you want to focus on why you want it rather than how you're going to do it. So I think that those are really good for people to begin to start considering, what goal do you want to set for Q4? You already know that you have to be motivated. You already know it's something you want. You already know that it'll help you expand your message, and you got a big why behind it, and you already know that you should be a little scared.
I want to piggyback onto this, because you and I have talked many, many times over the years, so we understand some of the background thinking that we're feeling. And I want people to understand that money is never the goal. Even if you want gobs and gobs of money, it is not the goal. It's not your why. The why is what you want that money to do for you.
That is exactly right. And that's the perfect piggyback, because I know in the New Testament, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. When Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich, they were talking about money. But today, 100 years later, we're a little sensitive to that. We don't like to go for a goal just for money. Consider, though, that whatever your goal is, it will require money to purchase whatever it is you want. So money is really, it's something that you have to reach the goal. But there's no real love for the money. It's, like you said, it's for what you need it in order to create whatever this is in service to others.
Exactly. I know because I've done research and I've read about this, a lot of the major wealth holders still here in the United States, people don't know about because they use their money for good. So sometimes I hear people complain that, oh, it's bad that so-and-so's got so much money. That's not the problem. And then they may or may not be doing what you want them to do with their money, but them having the money is not the problem. Because if you want to keep someone else from earning money, you are also going to be unconsciously keeping yourself from earning money because you don't believe people should have money. Well, if you don't think internally that anyone deserves to have a lot of money, you're going to make that true for yourself, whatever that figure may be.
Yes, and I will tell you that your results will match what you believe about your ability and your deservability. So, to your point, if you don't believe you deserve whatever it is, you're not going to get it. So, one of the things I do is belief engineering or belief generation. You see, what we believe that we would go to the mat for, you can't see it and you can't reject it. It's in the subconscious. It takes months to impress it into the subconscious where it is the truth for you. May not be for me, but it is for you. Try to talk someone out of their belief in God. You're not going to be able to do it because they know that they know that they know it. Now, the universe will match up your results with what you believe. So the way you can figure out what you truly believe about your deservability, and I'm not worried about your ability, you're perfectly capable to gauge that. But if you don't have what you want, it could be that you don't believe it, to Kat's point. The way you know what you believe is through what you have. Your lifestyle, your bank account, etc. If you're not satisfied, you're missing information, that's all. All you need to know is one of the things that I teach is how to create perfect faith in what you want using the universal laws that are already here. There's 7 of them. Using the business principles of success that have been used for 5,000 years and that Napoleon Hill synthesized. That's what made him the 20th century's greatest reporter on success. He didn't know anything about success, but he interviewed 10,000 people, 500 consistently over 20 years at the bidding of Andrew Carnegie to find out what were they doing that everybody else failed to do. He wanted to know what they were all doing. And so in Think and Grow Rich, he's actually synthesized those behaviors, right? Those ways of being and doing things. So it's all in one place. And it's critical for women to learn these things. You know, we know so little, right? We really do. And so I have had just the best time teaching people these things because learning is our gift. Only humans have conscious awareness. If you think about this, I can have an idea for a stainless steel straw, and I could be out to lunch with you pre-COVID, and we're discussing, rather than throwing away paper straws, you and I are noodling the idea of a reusable straw. So everything is created twice. First, in an image in your mind. So that's our conversation. Now, if we want it to be our goal, we fall in love with it, there's got a big why, we're going to make a difference for other people, right? We have no clue how to do it. We're scared, right? We have all of that, right? That is how you begin to create a goal, right, that fits the golden rules so that you will actually end up with whatever it is in your hand. Once it does, you know that you deserve it. You've also seen proof of faith that the universe, God, spirit, energy, is we are co-creators. Only humans can take an idea and turn it into physical form. Dogs don't do it. So,
Leslie, I'm going to stop you right there because I think this is a perfect place to remind people watching or listening that you have a resource that people can get help with this process that you teach. And it's a free resource. If you're watching or listening to this or reading the blog post, make sure to read down. There will be a link to Leslie's resource. Just take a minute and tell us what we can expect to find in that resource.
Okay. So I'm really excited about this. I'm going to do a 5-day Art of Results Masterclass Intensive on Facebook, October 5th through the 9th, 1 hour each day live in my Facebook group. And there is no fee for it. I highly encourage you. You're going to find out some things far beyond what I showed you or what we shared today. And it's complimentary and it will be exciting. You'll have a workbook and you'll have assignments to do. Whether you opt in for this or not, I encourage you to begin thinking right now, what is a really juicy goal for you this quarter?
Right. Now, I know that this Fast Action Friday episode is going to air before that masterclass challenge. All right.
Perfect.
If you happen to be watching this and it's past October 5th, 2020, I want you to still check out the links below because there'll be replays. You'll be able to get into her Facebook group. She may be running in it again. You can find out the other things that are there because Fast Action Friday followers know that all of the free resource have some type of evergreen component to it if you didn't catch it the first time around. So Leslie, I want to thank you for coming and sharing your wisdom about the art and science of results. I think oftentimes people think of goals in ways that do not serve them and that hold them back. I know in my programs, I often put setting goals into the second phase of working with someone because they've been trying to do goals in various lighthearted ways. They are not confident in their goals they are setting. They have not developed that confidence muscle that you talked about that is the byproduct. And so my way is to help people get some success under their belts while they're figuring out what their goals actually are. So what you're teaching them is a great next step for people and a first step for people who have already figured that out.
Yes.
So thank you again for being here today with me.
Absolutely my pleasure. Are you going to tell them something funny about me? I had to fill out all that.
Oh, we have some really cool on the blog post on the rockingyourpath.com blog post for this episode, as I do for my other Fast Action Friday guests. We always share some fun or unusual background information about the guests that the guests supply themselves. And I can bet that unless they already know you, they would not be able to come close to guessing what some of your fun and unusual facts are. So that's another reason to go check out the blog post.
Yes, me too.
Thanks, Leslie. Well, this is Kat Sturtz closing another episode of Fast Action Fridays. I want to remind you to keep watching next week when I will have another great guest. Until then, remember to keep rocking your unique path to success. Bye-bye.